What is going on, Jet fans? Matt O'Leary back with another video. Today I want to talk about a bold prediction from Jason McIntyre of Fox Sports 1. We're going to get into that and why the New York Jets should be considered one of the 5 teams that could win the Super Bowl in 2024. So Jason McIntyre, as I mentioned, is someone who works for Fox Sports 1. On the show recently, he did a tier list which went through and discussed where each team is, and they were broken into different categories. Favorites to win the Super Bowl, in the mix to win the Super Bowl, mid, need a prayer, and absolutely no shot. So, in the there were 5 teams in that top favorites. The Bengals have Joe Burrow. Obviously are trying to improve off a year where they lost Joe for a big chunk and were worst in the division last year. The Lions, who came very close to the Super Bowl. The Chiefs, who have won back-to-back Super Bowls and have the best quarterback and best player in the sport. The 49ers, who went to the Super Bowl. And then finally, the New York Jets. And here is Jason's reason for why they absolutely should be one of those teams considered favorites.
I have a lot of notes on the Jets. I'm not going to go too deep here, but I have them favored in 13 of 17 games. Pro Football Focus has their offensive line. They were 31st last year. They're 5th this year because it got so much better. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers' Achilles is everything, but the offensive line is way better. Pass defense, number 1 in the NFL. A guy at ESPN said the Jets linebackers graded out as tied with the Niners as the best in the league. Folks, this team is stacked, ridiculously stacked. If healthy, and let's just assume health for everybody, I'm telling you, the Jets will be in the mix. We can make fun of Aaron Rodgers' Egypt nonsense, but I'm on record. The Jets will be in the mix. Favorites, one of the top 5, one of the 5 favorites to win the Super Bowl. And Vegas, guys, kind of sort of agrees with me.
You know, it's really funny because, as pointed out, when looking at the Jets schedule, they're going to be favored in a ton of these games coming up in 2024. Looking at it right now, obviously not in week 1, probably, roughly 13 times, yet their win-loss total, their over-under on the season is 9.5. So, something isn't adding up. There's a variance from them going from being favorites in 13 games potentially to their win total being 9.5. And maybe it's injuries, maybe it's Aaron Rodgers, maybe it's the coaching staff, whatever it is at this point that has Vegas a little skeptical on the New York Jets. I get it. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that, this is going to be a 15-win team and they're going to just run through the league. I think there's going to be some bumps in the road, and that's okay. Last year, we saw the Kansas City Chiefs kind of just get hot at the right time and go on a run. That's what it is. You have to be playing your best football at the end of the year and going into the playoffs. Like so many examples of teams over the years who start out really well, then get cold, still finish with a good record, but get bounced in the play. Like the Eagles last year, great example. They come flying out of the gate, go ice cold down the stretch, bounce in the first round. The Miami Dolphins the last 2 years come flying out of the gate, go ice cold in December, get bounced in the first, in the first round. And I'm not saying that it's a lock or a guarantee, or that even when it comes down to prediction time in August that I'm going to be predicting the Jets to win the Super Bowl. But the point being made about this Jets roster is true. Defensively, they have the best defensive line in football, the best cornerback trio in football, one of the best linebacker duos in football. Sure, safety, you could maybe say that that's a weaker point, but again, if you had to pick a weaker point on that defense, or just on a team in general, it being safety is probably one of the few spots where you feel okay about it. And then on the offensive side of the ball, as pointed out, they went from a team with one of the worst offensive lines in football to one that, at least right now on paper, should be significantly better, and one that has better contingency plans. The Jets' plan last year was Dwayne Brown and Mekhi Becton as your starting tackles, and then their insurance policy, their number one guy coming out off the bench at tackle was Max Mitchell. And now this year, You have Tyron Smith, who when healthy is an all-pro caliber guy. You also have Morgan Moses, who's been an Ironman and a plus starter in this league for a long time at right tackle. And if one of those guys gets hurt, which, again, because of their age and they both were banged up last year, like, I'm not going to lie to you, I don't think you get 17 games from both those guys. But you have the 11th overall pick in Olu Fashanu, who gets to be able to plug in right there and who is looked at as one of the best pass blocking prospects in the NFL draft. Yes, he's raw, but he's learning behind two studs at tackle. Who better than Tyron Smith and Morgan Moses? And then you have Carter Warren. And then if you get down to Max Mitchell, I hope you don't have to, but you know, there's more depth this year than in years gone by on the offensive line. The questions will be the coaching staff. If the coaching staff is good enough, what Aaron Rodgers is after the injury coming back, if they have enough depth at wide receiver. Other than that, feel pretty confident in this Jets roster, and this should be a very good football team. So enjoy it, Jet fans, because I know I will. It's been a long, long time since the Jets had a football team. I've been doing this YouTube thing for a long time now. We've covered a lot of awful New York Jets teams. I'm excited to cover one that hopefully has a winning record at the end of the year. That'd be a nice change. Guys, make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Please like the video before you go. Share with a friend. Leave a comment on how you're feeling about the New York Jets. I'll catch you guys next time.